I could go back to videos that was filmed in the 70s and 80s where black women straight up said, I don't want a man. I don't need a man.
Raise your hand if you're married. None of you are married. Raise your hand if you would like to be married to your baby's father.
What's going on, YouTube? Today we are back with another reaction video for you. This one is from Madame Noir. We have Melyssa Ford. She is trying to educate us on what the soft life means. Ladies, are y'all really ready for a soft life? Do you know what that entails? Let's find out.
Hello and welcome to Listen to Black Women. Just us, okay? So focus on this side of the stage is what we're gonna do now.
Pay close attention, fellas. Every lighthearted joke, there's some validity to it. Trust me when I tell you. They laugh, but you'll see.
I'm L'Oreal, and of course, I have my lovely girl with me, Al Varner.
I want to know how we build a stronger, real community for us.
Melyssa Ford.
As a black woman to have survived in this industry, I am not without my scars.
And we have to welcome our brother show, or do you say sister show?
You call it
How do
whatever you
do
want.
it?
It's 2023, we're here.
Listen to Black Men.
Hey!
Okay, of course we have Melyssa Jones.
I'm accountable for everything. I make a choice not to communicate because I don't want to feel vulnerable.
We have Jeremy here with us as well.
I feel like that means emotional intelligence, being in tune with what you bring to the table.
And Tyler Chronicles.
I'm just trying to say, y'all, it's not right. You can put your hand down. It's not right.
I mean, we have to start out swinging because this is gender wars, right? Okay, so the conversation with men versus women, that's been going on for quite some time now, right?
Too long.
But now everybody has a microphone, everybody has a podcast, and obviously this conversation is not safe from none of those podcasts. And you start to see things and you're going through things in your relationship, and of course, things pop right up. Well, if he's doing this, he must be a narcissist. Now you arguing with them like, you're a narcissist. You know, so what are y'all getting from social media right now, or what do you think is the main problem that we're having when it comes to men versus women, right?
The problem with social media is it's like people take how many likes, how many views as validation, right? If this person that posts whatever they post and they say my stance is narcissism is this, or my experience that all men act like this, and they get millions of views or hundreds of thousands of likes, the narrative starts to be formed that that's actually true.
Yeah.
And then they try to compare that post to a real life situation or whoever they're experiencing stuff with and try to put that label on that person without actually communicating and getting to the bottom of whatever the issue may be.
He's 100% right. They all look for validation on social media, and they all look to see who has the most likes. And if you got the most likes, you're the most popular person, you must be right. And it's sad because research is out there. Your smartphone. Back when I was growing up, there was no such thing as a smartphone. I didn't know what that was. So we had to actually go to the library and do research. Now, everything is at your fingertips. Yeah, I know I gave my age away, but it is what it is. It's wild that no one does research. They just want to believe what the next man says with no type of factual evidence behind it.
There's no cognitive thinking, right? Like,
so you rely on the post.
As a grown-ass adult, as a grown adult. I did it for y'all.
He's annoying.
As a grown adult, if I see anything pop on my timeline and it says, all men, I'm scrolling. All women, I'm scrolling. Because I'm going to look at the person who's saying it, and 9 times out of 10, they in a dark room in front of a microphone, yelling and spitting on the microphone. I already know they have not interacted with enough men or women to have a valid opinion to say, all men, all women.
I think the problem is whenever we see headlines like all men do, all women are, it's treating each group like they're a monolith. And that is where we fail. And we also fail when we use terms like men versus women, because immediately that sets us up as opposing forces. And that we're enemies. You know, and so that's where progress dies.
But is this happening everywhere, or is this mainly in the Black community where we see men versus women?
Social media has created a lane for people who have no expertise, no validation. They've created a space there's an open marketplace. In the marketplace, it's broken Black women. That is the marketplace. And if they can keep giving you content that's going to speak to your brokenness, you'll never need to get healed. And if you get healed, you don't need them anymore.
Why do you-
Wait, 1 second, sir. Back up. Did you say the marketplace is broken black women?
That's what he
For
said.
them, yes.
Okay.
I'm not saying the marketplace. I'm not saying all women are broken. I'm saying the marketplace.
I feel like
That's
we
who
should,
they're-
I feel like it should include, it should be broken people, because there's a marketplace for broken men and broken women.
Right.
And basically,
You know what's wild to me? For a group that claim to be the most educated, you literally gotta be so literal to the points, periods, and commas of every conversation you have with them. Of course it's not all. Of course he's talking about, if you were to listen to the context that he broke down around the conversation, he pretty much said there's a space on social media that says that it could go both ways. But for some reason, Elvana or whatever her name is, oh my God, I can't believe it. And homegirl is like, hold up, wait, nah, you ain't trying to say that. She too damn masculine anyway. But the point is, why does it have to be like, okay, if I have a conversation with you, I have to spell out every word. I got to dot dot on every I, cross every T. I got to make sure the commas is there, make sure each period is at the end of every sentence for you to even understand that my point is still my point, even though you know what I'm talking about. It's crazy.
these are people that require therapy. The vast majority of us require some level of therapy, and a lot of us lead with our trauma. We speak from our trauma.
Right.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
that's
We
not
project our trauma.
But that's not who these guys.
Oh, they're hoping for that.
It speaks to something.
That's not true.
All he does is sit in the room. Hey, he the DeVry man. Hey, that man, you let him do that to you, he don't like you, he hates you. And then now you sit here and be like, you know what? He do hate me.
I feel like that's where the problem and the divide is created, in which men look at and refer to those types of men as simps. I can't believe how many times I see in comment sections, whenever there's a man who has the ability to critically think and actually seems to place value in women beyond their physical selves.
Look at these two simps in the audience. I don't know. I guess they're talking about me because it bugs me out that men even go to these conversations. Here's the thing, right? It's not the fact that we calling men that uplifts women simps. The point is when you uplift women at the detriment to men, that's the problem. And what a lot of women do is, or a lot of men do, I should say, is they turn around and say, women, your goddesses, your queens, minus the fact of what role the men play to build women up in this lifetime. I'm giving you my seed. I'm the father of the son. I deserve praise as well. You would never hear a simp giving men that praise. You would never hear an actual simp telling women what men really think. So at the end of the day, when you hear them talk, they tell women things because it's good for the soul, it's good to hear, but it's not real life. So at the end of the day, are they doing you a service or are they doing you an injustice? That's the problem. And you guys love listening to simps, which is why Derrick Jackson got rich.
Beyond their sexual contributions, that other men call him simp, and I'm
Well,
just
there's
like,
two different
because they think
But
of it
you
as
kinda
like
just
pandering.
did
No, I
that,
didn't call him a simp for that, right? I've been called. You can go down all my social media platforms. Anytime I speak
No, a lot of people don't like your mouth.
about women. That's
No, I'm joking.
That's fine. Anyone that speaks, whenever I'm talking that talk, oh, I'm a simp. Oh, I'm a simp. But here goes the thing. I'm not leaning to any side. I'm sitting here right in the middle. Hey, this is our problem, men. This is the problem we dealing with over here, and this is why we dealing with this problem for women. They not doing that. What they doing is saying, all right, I got something. Hit record. He hates you. He don't respect you. They're banking on women to stay broken. He's banking on that. Because the minute they're not, they don't need to watch it anymore.
I want to know how we move forward and begin to build a stronger, real community for us.
I feel like the men have to lead in that situation, and y'all never do. To be honest, it's always the women that are starting the conversation.
And a lot of that's
continuing it.
But that's another issue that keeps coming up, is men accusing women of becoming more masculine, and the flip side is women saying, well, men have become way more feminized, and it's just like, I think don't think it's as black and white as that.
Yeah.
I think that's
You know what I'm saying?
systematic. I think that's systematic as well. Like if the men are being pushed out of the household,
Mm-hmm.
a woman kind of has to become a masculine figure and be able to run that household. You know what I mean? So I think that has been systematic over time, and I think it is true. A lot of the narrative has been, I don't need a man for anything. I could do it by myself. Type
I don't know
situation.
where that
'Cause you don't
narrative
have a
came from. I
choice.
But no, I'm
hate
saying
it.
it's
I
been
hate that narrative.
it's been pushed
Yeah.
though. It's not the first time you
I'm
heard
exhausted.
But we have a choice.
You know what I'm saying?
I know,
I'm
but-
exhausted.
But that's what you
Never
hear though.
changed.
It goes back.
We rarely hear a woman saying, "I'm exhausted." We rarely hear that.
Nah,
Oh my
we hear
God,
it.
well-
Nah, they hear. They saying it
Well, let
loud.
me just say it.
Oh, well, then,
y'all keep disagree with everything I say. Like I ain't.
allow me to educate. Let me tell you something. Allow me to educate you guys on what soft life actually means.
Let's do it.
We're exhausted.
Hoes.
Okay, we are exhausted. We want a life where love does not equal struggle. We want a life in which there isn't a necessity to be combative and to always have your guard up and be hyper vigilant about every little thing, because as difficult as the world is for black men, it is equally as difficult for black women.
Double.
And I don't think
Probably
that,
harder.
Double.
It's harder.
and yeah, and I think that what we enter into in these conversations is oppression Olympics.
That's true,
who
too.
has it worse, the black man or the black woman out in the streets? Child, both
We
of us.
all got it hard.
Both of us. We gotta have.
So, with all that being said, she just turned around right before she said the oppression Olympics and trying to figure out who has it harder. Here goes L'Oreal talking about black women have it harder. No, you don't. As a matter of fact, when you go out there, I live in Charlotte. I go out Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Where do I see black women sitting at the most? At the table sitting at brunch. Where do I see black men? Black men at the most, for the most part, they out there working hard. We ain't got time to be out there taking brunch every weekend, hanging out with the boys every weekend. We not doing that. That's something that black women tend to take pride in. They tend to look for men that can take care of them. It's not about having a war with each other. The point is that we're better together. But we do have to get to the source of the problem. When we start looking at the problem, you actually dissect it. You start looking at, okay, why was the man pushed out the house? Was it a necessity to get the man out the house? No, it wasn't. You could have chose us. Yes, you could have chose the struggle. Yes, you could have chose the hardship, but you would have had somebody with you. You would have had a man raising your son. You would have had a man raising your daughter. But a lot. I could go back to videos that was filmed in the 70s and 80s where black women straight up said, I don't want a man. I don't need a man.
Raise your hand if you're married. None of you are married. Raise your hand if you would like to be married to your baby's father. One. The rest of you who don't plan to get married, why don't you plan to get married? I'd like to know that.
You already have your child to think about, and then a whole family to care for. It's a lot of responsibility, and then you don't want the commitments.
I wouldn't want no man holding me down, because I think I can make it as a single parent.
But don't you think you might need help in raising that baby from a man?
Not really. I didn't have a father. My father wasn't in the home, so it really, male figures are not substantially important in the family.
Well, guess what? The same men that you're complaining about today were the men that were babies back then. Now you have a problem with the product that your mama started. You need your men. You've always needed your men. We need each other because we're better together. But so long as you got shows like this where women are sitting there pretty much throwing underhanded slight comments consistently of black men, we will never get anywhere.